Are you winning? Do you need help in your life or business? Could you use some inspiration, business strategies, and success principles? I'm Daniel Gomez, award-winning business coach, keynote speaker, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you create a successful life and elevate your business. Together, we will discover the keys that unlock your success and dreams. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate you, we inspire you, and we educate you. And today, I'll tell you, I had the pleasure of just meeting this amazing, powerful woman several years back, and we've crossed paths several times. And I said, I need to get you on my show. You just bring a lot of charisma, a lot of wisdom, and people need to know more of who you are. So I'm honored to have today a dear friend, a fellow coach, speaker, very successful business owner, doctor, and I want to add the word doctor, the one and only Miss Emily Letran. How you doing, Emily?
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Thank you for creating this platform where we can share stories and inspire people. And thank you for your mission and what you're striving to do. You're thriving doing it. And thank you for just being you.
So should I call you doctor throughout the show?
No, you can call me Emily. You don't have to call me doctor.
Well, my dear friend Emily, do me a favor. Introduce yourself to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, please.
Yes, so my name is Dr. Emily Letran. I am the best mom in the world. I came to the United States as a refugee several years ago, and I believe I'm living the American dream with a lot of hard work, a lot of help, and support from other people, and a lot of learning. And I want to share that story today, or a little bit of that story today. And I really want to help everybody see themselves in the future, being successful, being at the next level, and live a very, very happy life.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, once you hear part of her story, you might even break out in tears. She had me in tears when I first heard her speak live, and it was just powerful. So you know what we say here in the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, get out your pen, get out your papers, because what you write down, you're going to retain over 50% of it. And you definitely want to take notes, because she's going to drop some massive wisdom. Emily is no joke. She has exited businesses, bought businesses. So she definitely knows what she's talking about. So don't let her sweetness be mistaken as identity and her being naive. She knows what's going on. So Dr. Emily, I love what you said, and I want to piggyback on your opening statement, is that many people get stuck. And I love the word that you said, right? The future, your future you. Why do you think so many people get stuck in their present you instead of really putting the emphasis, putting in that intentionality in the future you?
Okay, well, that's a great question. Thank you for that. And I wanna share a little bit of my story, which is why it's always about the future. Because I think wherever you are, that is the future of the past, right? So Daniel today is the future of Daniel 10 years ago. And so the next level for Daniel could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. For me, like I mentioned earlier, I came to this country as a refugee. So we didn't have anything. I came with my aunt, having left my dad back home. We were escaping from the communists. So when I get here, I know there was only one way to go, which is up, because we were at the bottom. So imagine if I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, what do I do with this? I don't have the money. I don't know how to speak English. We're sleeping on the floor, etc., etc. That's not going to be motivating at all, right? If I'm just focusing on the present. And I remember going to high school, getting in line to get that free lunch, which in hindsight, I think it's pretty much frozen food. But anyway, I remember standing in line to get the free lunch and watching some of these kids just leaving the school and driving their car. And they may just going for In-N-Out burger. It wasn't anything fancy. But the fact that, they didn't have to stand in this line every day, even though it was a free lunch. But they have that freedom. They have that money to go out. And so right then and there, I already made that decision that, what I want that freedom. I want that choice. And so I would invite all of our listeners, whether they're listening today, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, when you're thinking about, I want a better life, or I want to be happier, whatever your goal is, do not lock yourself at today, at the present. And for me, the present is for you.
Hold on. I don't want to miss that.
Okay.
That's a gem right there. You said something profound. I'm asking because I've been guilty of that. What are some ways that someone locks themselves in their present? Give us 2 examples. What do you mean by when someone is right? They're locked so much in their presence that they don't even see the bright future they may have. Because I think I do that sometimes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, this is very common. Would you hear people say, "Oh, I'm gonna get up tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, and here comes Monday," right? The mentality there is you don't have a choice. That's the only way Monday can be, right? Which is, I'm stressed out. Tomorrow's Monday. I'm gonna have another week, and then I'm gonna looking forward to Friday, right? Because I'm gonna have those 2 days in the weekend. And of course, for people like you and me, we're entrepreneurs, so we don't have a boss. So I may say tomorrow is Wednesday. I think I'm going to take the day off, right? And whether I have income coming in or not, we're just going to put that on the side. But I made that choice that tomorrow I'm taking the day off. Whereas if somebody working for somebody else, they may not have that choice. What I'm trying to say is the choice is yours. If you say, I don't want to have to come to work for Mr. X or company Y, I want you to start looking and say, with the talent I have right now, with the knowledge I have right now, because somebody could be 20 years working in a company and they have certain talents, certain skills. With that, what else can I do? Right? And so for me, the present is about gratitude, meaning, well, I travel some distance to get to this present. From the present going to the future, it might be a different journey. You might need different friends. You may need a coach. You may need a mentor. You may need to start doing public speaking, like all of these skill sets that you may not have right now, but you would need to do that in order to get to that new future, that new you. But for the present today, I don't want it to be complacent. I don't want it to be, you know what, I'm stuck in this. I mean, stuck is you could be physically stuck, like in jail, right? Or,
That's not me.
no, but you know what I mean.
No, I know. I like having fun with you because you make me laugh. We have a kindred spirit in that.
Or you could be
just for the record, Daniel Gomes Inspire Show. I was not in jail. We're just talking a conversation.
Okay. Okay, so I gotta clarify that too. I have
no, I'm just
so my point is, we could be stuck because that's our thinking. Right? I can't tell you how many people, and I made it into a joke. I was working at the VA hospital as a general practice residency right after my dental school. And I would hear people complaining, right? Okay, I don't like this part of the job. And when I asked them, well, why don't you find another job? They say, oh, I got to work here for 15 years to get X amount of benefits, right? And then when I get working for 25 years, then I get this amount of benefits. So the reason you choose to be there is because you want that benefits. It's not because you're stuck. You could change, but you want that. So a lot of time when I'm speaking to friends, colleagues, clients, the very first question is, what is it that you want? Because if what you want, whatever you're doing right now, is not going to give you what you want, then you can either just stay on your path and please just be happy with that and just stop bitching, to me or your relatives. Or let's talk about what else can we change in order to embark on that new journey, right? So for me, the present is about reflection, is about gratitude. I got so much help. I got, all this knowledge. I spend my time studying or whatever, and I get here. And the future is beyond here now. And I want people to think I have the power to get to that future, but it will take some changes. Whether it's my personal change, or maybe I have to move somewhere. The first time I heard this, it was so funny. One of the very famous dentists, he said, he lives in Phoenix. And he said, all of these new dentists coming out, and they all want to go to Phoenix, and then they complain that it's so saturated. And why the hell don't you, this is exact word, why the hell do you not drive out 30 minutes out and live there and find a job there? Because you are not a tree, right? You could get up and leave. And it's simple, but it is so profound because people think that, oh, I should do this because everybody else is here. Well, you're not everybody else, right? You are you. And what you desire may not be what I desire. We have different things that we want. And what we're doing sometimes is we are the biggest person that's stopping ourselves because we make certain decisions that we say, okay, I need to live here. Like my friends would tell me, right? Emily, why do you live in California? There's a lot of taxes and it's competitive, as a dentist, blah, 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 blah. And I say, well, I live in California for two reasons. Number one is my family, my extended family is here. And number two is there's a culture here, like there's a Vietnamese, community. And I want to go there and get food. And, so for me, it's the family and it's the culture.
So let me ask you this, and I love your sign, action to win. So if there was two action to win steps that Daniel had to take to get out of his current self and into his future self, and we'll just say that Daniel's had some successes and he's complacent, like you said, the word complacent.
Right.
What are two action to win? I like that, action to win. I'm going to take action to win. What are two action to win steps that a Daniel could take to get out of his current self and start focusing more on the future?
So the action may not be a physical action, right? So I would say action step number one is to decide or to think, to get some clarity. What is it that Daniel wants? What's in the future self that Daniel wants? So let's say you say, I want to be in Hollywood. I'm just making this up, right? Well, and you live in, where do you live right now, Daniel?
In Texas, San Antonio, San Antonio.
Okay.
So, actually,
so you could move to Hollywood, Texas, or Hollywood, Florida.
I'm gonna. So, since we're being transparent on the show, right?
Of course.
You know what I wrote down? I write it down every once in a while. Is I am appearing on Good Morning America with Michael Strahan. I've never shared that with anybody, but I wrote that about a year ago. I am appearing on Good Morning America with Michael Strahan. And I picture myself, right? Because I was able to be in New York, in Times Square this past year. So I seen it live. So I envisioned myself being interviewed in a suit with Michael Strahan. And let's use that analogy.
Okay. So so that's the goal. We're gonna be on Good Morning America, right?
Yes.
So the first thing I would say, okay, Daniel, what are you gonna say on Good Morning America? Right? Like, what is the one thing? So if you say, I want to encourage people to all become good public speaker, just as an example, because that's one of the 200 things that you do, right? So, so I want to be on there as a public speaker coach who transform people's lives. Let's just say that's what we want, right? So that's number one. So at least we need to know, why do we want to be on Good Morning America and what are we going to say, right? The second thing is, as far as I'm concerned, it's very easy. Who are the people who can do the PR, who have that connection? So instead of thinking, I want to go to Hollywood, or I may want to be on Oprah show or whatever other show, we have a very specific show we want to be on. The next thing would be, who knows who can connect me to Good Morning America, right? So now it becomes, okay, let me make a list. So let's say one of my friends, okay, Michelle Woodward Pippin, she actually put on an event where you come and you pitch different TVs, okay, about whatever you want to be on TV for. And the last time I was on there was like 12 TV shows, right? Good Morning America was not one of them, for example, but it doesn't mean she cannot bring Good Morning America there, right? So instead of trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? Well, this is the person who may have the connection to that show. So why don't we just start there and just go directly to her? And if you say, I want to go there and talk about this topic, and she may say, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good topic, right, to pitch. So what I'm trying to say is, once you get the clarity of who is that future person, the second thing is, who can help me get there, right? And again, it's not a physical thing. It's, you may not write down some names, you may start doing some digging online, right? But it's not like go out there and get 5 clients. It's not like that. In this case, who knows who who can get you on Good Morning America. That would be number one.
Yes.
And number two is what I would do is I would make sure to crystallize my message, right? Because usually you're on there for, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes, right? 2 to 3 minutes. What are the main things? Do I have things that support me there? If you want to tell people, I want to be that one, the coach that help people become public speakers so they can transform lives, I would make sure that whatever from now until whenever we get on there, so let's just say we want to get on there in March. From now to then, I want to make sure that I get on different venues, different stations, local, virtual, whatever it is, to support that. So by the time Good Morning America hear about you, they go, oh, he's already been on 10 different stations talking about this exact topic, and they all love him. So we'll invite him. And I know you already know this. You're asking this for your audience, right? It's, for me, what stops people a lot of times is they think, I gotta know this, I gotta do all this. No, you don't. You leverage the relationship that you have, the people who already have the relationship. So now you have a relationship with this person and this person know that person. That's how you go, right? So you can fast track yourself, because if you sit there and you say, I want to go to Good Morning America, and you tell your family and they all think you're crazy, they're gonna stop you right there. But if I tell you, I have a friend, her name is Lisa Copeland. So she joined eXp Realty, right? And I interviewed her on one of my web TV segment, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm one of the top 100." And I said, "What's wrong with you?" Top 10. It came as a challenge and as a joke. Guess where she is right now in eXp? I think she's number 3 or 4, right? So I think
she lives in Texas, doesn't she? She lives in
she lives
Austin.
in Texas. Is she in Austin?
She's in the Austin.
She loves Austin, right? Yeah, Lisa Copeland.
Yes.
So she's very close to Elena Cardone and all that. But my point is this. I challenge her, and that's one of the things I do with a lot of people, because it forces them to think. If I challenge you to do that, it's gonna force you to think, like, do you really want that? Because it sounds like a lot of work to get there, right? So people don't just make these statements. Like I know people say, okay, put it out to the universe. I get that. But nothing's gonna happen if all you do is just putting out to the universe, right? You got to put some work into it. You got some strategy into it. And that's one of the things I do is I help people with a strategy. We'll figure out what you want. I'll help you with a strategy, right? But some people, as soon as we actually paint that picture to be, you're going to be on TV, you're going to be in front of, I don't know how many million people. Sometimes they say, you know what, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I may not want that, right? I'm not ready for that. And that's one of the things that we all do is we think we want that, but we actually don't want that. So the clarity is, you want it for whom? You want it for yourself? You want it so you can just say you've been on Good Morning America? You want it because you know that is the number one way for you to get your message out? Those all have different levels of want, I think. And
yeah. And I would want to be on Good Morning America. I would say this, right? So if you were Michael Strahan, I'd be like, Michael, I wanted to come on and really just share the message that I believe everybody has the capability and the ability to become a millionaire. I think too many people live in poverty, and it's an epidemic in our country because there's so many dreams that go to the grave because no one ever takes the chance on themselves. And when you realize that you can become a millionaire, now you got freedom. Like my friend Emily was saying, right? You got freedom if you want to work Wednesday or don't. You got freedom if you want to bless a charity or not. And I love what we're talking about. So let me ask you this. Was there ever a time that you got stuck in your current self?
Oh, all the time.
Not you.
No, I mean, whenever you think you want to go to the next level, I think if you're really truthful to yourself, you already know that you're stuck at this level. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, let's say you're doing $1 million and you're happy with $1 million, whatever the net income is. But nobody really asks you, okay, if you had 20% more income, what would you do with it? Just for example, right? And then you say, oh, you know what? I really want to go and to, let's say for me, I want to go back to Vietnam and build a school, just for example. Now, I wouldn't have that vision until I see I have this extra money where I can do that, right? And I think what people do is they stuck where they are because they don't see way of increasing. For example, if you're working 40 hours making X, and we say let's do 20% more, you do not want to work 60 hours or whatever the 40% is. 20% is from the 40 hours because you're already tired, right? So people need to understand that in order to get to that next level, it doesn't mean you work harder at whatever the one thing is. It's like when you tell people you can be a millionaire and they say, well, I make $60,000 a month, I mean a year. But how do I get to be a millionaire, right? Then you have to, you show them the path that there are certain investments that you can make. There are certain things that you can create passive income. Maybe you're already good in, let's say you're an engineer, you're already good in that. Well, maybe you're good in organization or tech. Now you could be a consultant in tech. You're the engineer, but on the other hand, you can be a consultant to a tech company, right? And so these are the ways that you can add into your income so you can get to the $1 million, because we can't do it with 50,000 a year, whatever it is that we say that you currently have. So I think that's the important part, is for you, or like a coach, right, or a mentor, to paint those steps. That's what we need to do.
I love it, right? And what I gather from what you were saying is so many times, Dr. Emily, and listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, because are you always just talking about your current state? Are you always just talking about your current position where you are right now in your life, where you are right now in your business? So many people, so many of us, ladies and gentlemen, we get stuck. We talk about the past way too much. And then we talk about our current life right now. And you can't spend too much time with yourself, right? You get so familiar with Emily, you get so familiar with Daniel Gomes Inspires, we get so familiar with who we are that we don't even recognize that, man, I need to grow, right? Or there's something that needs to change because we're so familiar, or we have so much success that in a certain area, and we don't even give ourselves enough credit, right? We're beating ourselves up instead of really giving yourself more credit for what you've accomplished. But what I heard Dr. Emily say, ladies and gentlemen, is start talking about your future self. Start talking about the things you want to do. And don't just talk about them, but also implement an action, right? Action equals traction. We can have the knowledge, but if you're not doing implementation, it doesn't do you any good because it's wasted. It's wasted in our brains and we don't even apply it.
Mm-hmm.
So what knowledge do you have that you can apply, and how can you start talking about your future self? And I think for me, I'm going to be like, you know what, Emily, I can't wait till I get on Good Morning America. I'm excited to be interviewed by Michael Strahan, and they're going to be like, Daniel, you're crazy. Well, it's a dream. When people laughed at me and you, and right, think about it. People laughed at you when you came over to America, and people laughed at me when I said I'm going to be a speaker and have a speaking academy, because they don't know.
Right. And the thing is, you need to be the biggest supporter of yourself. And I know I was chatting about this with a friend.
Say that again. Say that again. Somebody missed that. They need to hear that.
You need to be the biggest supporter of yourself.
Boom, baby. Right?
Yeah.
Dr. Emily, right there. That's a quote. You need to be the biggest supporter of yourself. I love that.
Yes, because and if you say, well, you know what, Emily, I'm not sure. I haven't got to whatever level of income or whatever, fame, fortune, whatever it is. So I don't know if I can trust myself, right? But I can support myself. Well, that's where somebody else can help you. But you need to believe in yourself, and you need to support your own dream. Because if you can't support your own dream, how can somebody else support you, right? Like if somebody want to speak and you help them speak, they go through your boot camp, you help them speak, they got all the tools, but they just can't, they don't build that confidence because they don't trust themselves, because, okay, we have an accent or whatever. I mean, the first time I did a TEDx, my kids tore it down when I practiced with them. And they say, Mom, your enunciation is wrong, your pronunciation is wrong, your grammar is wrong. And I'm standing there going, forget you, I'm going to go practice with somebody else because, and they're my kids, right? They're going to give it to me, the truth. And yes, you do need that truthful feedback, but you need to support yourself in the sense that but I really want that. And I know I'm going to make a difference. And I know this is going to help change somebody's life. Um, that's what I mean by, supporting yourself. And if you need help, yes, look for ways. Maybe let's say if it's speaking and you say, well, I can't invest with Daniel yet, so maybe I'll go do Toastmaster. Whatever it is, because there's always multiple ways of learning, multiple ways of training. To go work with Daniel, for me, it's a smart choice because it's a fast track, right? Like,
Yes.
who has time every week to go to Toastmaster? I don't know. I mean, I know people who do that, but for me, that's a no, because I know I can't invest every week 2 hours or whatever the meeting. I've never done it, but I know that's usually the commitment, right? Because if you can't commit to it, you're not going to do it. Just period. You can say, no, I'm going to go try Toastmaster first, and you know yourself that you don't even go to the BNI meeting or Chamber of Commerce meeting. Like, if you're not doing that already, you are not going to Toastmasters.
Are you an aspiring speaker? Do you have a book that you've been wanting to write for months, maybe even years? Or are you an aspiring podcaster? You want to start that podcast like the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show and don't know where to start? Well, at Daniel Gomez Enterprises, we can help you do all three. We can help you become that paid speaker, share your story to the world, write your book, and get your podcast launched and help you produce it. We'd love to help you. Give us a call at 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. We can help you become that paid speaker, write that book, and launch your podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call now. Where in your life, write this question down, where in your life, where in your business are you not trusting yourself?
Right.
Where in your life and where in your business are you not trusting yourself? And it's keeping you stuck in the past or in your current situation because you're not trusting yourself. And we're talking about this, Dr. Emily, and I just had a conversation because I'm really I feel great about we've had a record-breaking year, but okay, now it's like, is Daniel going to be complacent or is he going to go out there and reach for more? And I'm going to talk about it because I think people can't be scared, right? I want to have my own. I went to go spend time. I went to a conference with at Andy Elliott's office, the Lions Den, and then was there with Tim Grover, and it was amazing, right? Just the vision, taking in the optics. And me and you know a lot of people that travel all over the world and speak. But what I loved about the Lions Den and what I love about what my coach Michael Burt's doing is the Greatness Factory is they're building a place where people come to them and they train them there. They coach them there.
Right.
And that's my vision for 2024, 2025. I want to, I don't know what it's going to be called yet. Maybe Action to Win. But right, maybe it's called the Winner Circle, maybe it's called the Champion Circle, or maybe it's called the Champions Den. I don't know, but but I when I went and I was in this facility at the Lions Den in Scottsdale, it really spoke to me. I said, I want something like this.
Right. So okay, Action to Win, by the way, is trademark. So so no, but see, this is where I think this is where people are stuck, right? They say, oh, let's just say, okay, I want to go and be a public speaker. Oh my God, it must take years. Oh my God, this and that. Whereas if they spend the weekend with you, right? Let's say the weekend, the boot camp is weekend, 2 days, 3 days, or whatever the boot camp, however long it is, but it is intensity, it's intentional, and it's all on them, right? Like, no, this is the weekend that you give yourself so you can become that speaker. Now, whether you're a great speaker or not, of course, it's going to take practice. Nobody's, there's some of us who are we have that talent. The majority of us is practicing. It's just like anything, right? But when they become that intentional and they make an investment to spend the time and spend the money, that's when things happen. When you're just, okay, well, you know what, this meeting is once a week, then I guess I'm going to give myself 6 months. Well, somebody like when I help people, because some of my clients may say, okay, I want to go and speak on dentistry, right? I can have a couple hours conversation with them, and we can draft specifically the clinical part that they want to teach. And you know what? Next weekend, can you just go teach it? You know, we are not waiting for 6 months because this is stuff that you already know, right? You're teaching something that you do every day. So can you just go do it? If you're trying to be an inspirational speaker, sometimes that's different because now you got to draft that story and you got to tell it in a way that you're going to move people. And that's a lot harder. What you teach is a lot harder. What I help with some of my, dentist clients, like actually one of my previous clients, she said, what you talk about is difficult. What I talk about is easy. Just go and do these 5 steps and then you can fix people's teeth, right? And she knows that because it's technical, right? But
Yeah.
when we trying to talk to the heart and we're trying to get people to move on something else, it's a lot harder. So I'm not saying to go to the boot camp and all of a sudden, wow, you're a great speaker. To go to the boot camp so you can get all the tools at one time, and then you go and you practice. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you help people to get on stages because that's what speaker coaches do, right? Once you train them, you say, hey, there's that opportunity and that opportunity and that opportunity. Please go take advantage of those.
Yes.
And
Yes. No, you're right, because I think this is a part that many aspiring people that want a business or want to grow miss, or maybe people that are stuck in that 9 to 5 job and they're really miserable, right? They know that God put a dream in their heart to do something more. Is when you come to an event like Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, there's a shift that happens. There's an unlocking in your reticular activating system. It's kind of like buying a car, right? When you bought your first Lexus or Mercedes, Dr. Emily, they were always there. Now you bought your brand new Mercedes, and what do you see? Hey, that's my car.
yeah, you're right, right.
And it's not like that God magically put all these cars for you because right now she needs to see them. No, the filter, your RAS let those optics in. So when you come to an event like Sticker Shock and you surround yourself with speakers, I've met so many speakers that have come and they've unlocked themselves.
Right.
A great example is this one amazing woman from Canada, Alka. She's like, I never thought I would be a speaker, and she came. She did amazing. Like, it was her first time speaking. She just had it in her and her passion. And now, since she left, she's spoken like 5 or 6 times. It's been I'm like, wow, because this filter in her RAS changed, right? And once that filter changes, now you start letting in all these opportunities and these possibilities. What's your perception on that?
Well, I totally agree with you because really sometimes the myth is, well, why do I need a coach? I already know whatever he's going to tell me, right? We have this joke in dentistry: hire a consultant so he can come and tell you what you already know and tell you what to do that you already know that you're supposed to do, right? And it's kind of a sarcastic joke, but it is not. Well, if you already know that, well, how come you're not doing it? That's where the coach come in. That's where the consultant come in. We go in there and we help you. We push that button for you, right? So you're
Yeah.
actually going to go do it. And a lot of time, what people do is they, we are not provider of information. We're not. You want to know anything, go ask Mr. Google. It's all over, right? Different things. And now people say, okay, I want to write something. Okay, we'll go ask ChatGPT. That is not the point because it's not the material. It's what's in you. What you're bringing is your uniqueness, whether it's your insights, right? Like I could share with you, like let's say we both help people craft a signature talk, just for example. You got certain insights, I got certain insights, right? From my training, from where I speak, for you, for years of training and years of training people. So we got different insights. And so what people get is they get that insight. That's what makes the difference, right? This is
Yes.
where, yeah, this is where, because I was joking to somebody that when I first started speaking, so there's a motto: you pay to speak, right? That's very normal at the beginning. And there was what I remember after that one year, Sharon Lecter, she's one of my mentor at the very beginning. She's okay, it's time to stop paying, you know, and start doing this strategically. However, at the beginning, with all the paying, and I wasn't paying, like just randomly. There was this person know this person kind of thing, right? So I was getting on the right stages. And so that way, when I go and I pitch myself to the next stage, I got something to show. There's a resume, right? There's
Yes.
I spoke here and here and here. And now I could be getting paid to speak, or maybe I'm not getting paid to speak, but I have a back end to support that, right? And so it makes sense for me to be speaking on different stages and things like that. These are things that no coach is going to tell you that. No coach is going to tell you, well, upfront anyway, right? Come to my thing, and then you still can go out and pay to speak. Because people are thinking, I become a speaker, now people are going to pay me to speak. And sometimes that's not the story. We all know there are sponsored speakers, there are invited speakers, there are speakers that we pay a lot of money for, right? And there are speakers who are friends who may come and speak for us and provide so much value. And yes, and they'll get clients from the event. So those are the things that you don't get from, I don't know, unless we try Googling it and see, and see how to get on stages, or you pay, you get event,
Yeah.
right? So these are things that we know because we've been through that journey, and that kind of advice to me is golden.
Well, I see you, and I've watched you from afar before we really connected. And when I heard your story, like your story was powerful. When I saw that picture of the boat that you came living over from, and it just like, it was like, wow, like it grabbed me, right? Because I think in America we have so much opportunity, but many times we don't grasp it because we've never been in that dire straight needs. Like coming over and sharing what you said, right? You came over, you were a refugee, nothing. And look at what you've made of yourself, multimillionaire over and over. You bought and sold dentistry. What was the driving force behind Dr. Emily Letran?
Well, I think one of the driving force that I have is the to be able to create impact. So, and what do I mean by that? In my journey of learning, whether learning about the business of dentistry, and then after that, I was learning marketing, right? I was a member of the GKIC, which is now bought by Russell Brunson, Magnetic Marketing. And I can see these speakers, these coaches, these mentors making such impact by helping, the other business owners, right? And so for me, I got that calling. I'm thinking, well, I could just practice dentistry in the four walls. And again, this is complacent. It's not complacent in the sense that I can't grow bigger, but it was, what more can you do? Right. And for me, there were two things. One is philanthropy, and the other one is, how do I create more impact? How can I reach more people so people know, hey, there's this refugee story that you can overcome, your hardship, and then you can rise above that. And on top of that, you can help people. Because one of the things I do with my coaching client, especially the business owners, is, hey, you're already in the position where you can give. That's what you have, a business, you have customers, you have money, right? Why don't you give your time or money, donation, whatever it is, to a cause? Why? Because it helps you feel that impact. It's not just about you making money, selling things. Now you donate, let's say, to a shelter. You donate to, like Thanksgiving's coming up, right?
Yes. Well, you know what? I wanna. You said something that hit me so hard when we were together in Denver. You said some of the people that right, in their mindset of philanthropy or their mindset of missionary work or giving back. Oh well, I don't have time to go to Africa. I don't have time to go to India. I don't have time. Well, good. Do it in your own office and give it away to your community.
Right, right.
But when you said that, sometimes we're too. What's the word I want to use here? Right? Sometimes we're so blinded to what the opportunity is that God has put in front of us that we think to make we heard the word, I want to make impact. Well, I got to go across the country. I got to go across the world. No, in your backyard. And that stuck with me, right? So now, because of you, I'm trying to be more intentional and tipping bigger, right? If I go cut my hair, I want to cut my hair today just for you, right? It's like, as to I would give a $5 tip, I'll give a $10 tip. Or somebody that I go and they do great, I'll give them a $20 tip. And maybe the food was $10 and I'm not sharing that to brag, but I'm sharing that with you, ladies and gentlemen, because you can make an impact. Maybe one of the waitresses that's serving you, maybe that's their Pampers for the day, or you just never know their situation. And you really like that was powerful when we were there and on our cool little Uber ride. It just you really touched my heart with that.
Right. And that's what I mean by impact. You know what? It's like, what other ways can I engage with people to serve? Right. And I know sometimes you hear this and you hear people who saying that, and you really, honestly, you don't see much of what they actually do. And for me, it just, you're good at whatever job it is or whatever business, start there, right? Start there, just start giving back there. You know, for Thanksgiving, I think there's a day where they say just go and shop in your local community, right? As part of Thanksgiving, because that's how you support the business around you. But when you do that, though, you're getting something back, or you go shopping, so you give the money and you get something back. How about just giving, right? How about just and a lot of time what people don't realize is you could give your time, and it means so much to someone,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Well, well,
it
well, you,
doesn't have to be money.
but you know this when you're saying that there's right now we have about 6 events a year, and we're gonna go to another two. We're gonna add another two next year. But there's people that sometimes they can't afford a ticket price, and we'll do a scholarship for a partial or whatever. However, every person's different, right? If we choose to do that, and I'll never forget there was this one individual that just they wanted to come learn how to speak, and they just the truth is they couldn't afford it, and I just said, well, I'll tell you what, see what you can do, and let's connect tomorrow. And we ended up giving him a scholarship, and someone else had it just worked out perfectly, right? Somebody else had paid and said, I can't make it. You know what, Daniel? Thank you for everything, but I'm gonna donate my ticket. So with the partial payment they made and the right, we were able to make a dream come true to somebody who would never have even had the opportunity to do it. And that's what it's about, what you're saying. That's what I love about you, Dr. Emily. You don't forget where you come from.
Well, yes, and I have that personal story, but at the same time, I think all of us should not forget where we come from, whichever background. And if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, I'm I can bet you, unless you're a Rockefeller or those kind of people, right? You probably, if you didn't work hard today, probably your parents worked hard to put you in that position, or maybe your grandparents work hard. And to always try to appreciate that's what we started with. Where was the past, right? And your past may already be smooth sailing, but that may have, but maybe you didn't come from a certain family because it was a previous generation that did that work for you, right? And and so now where you have better means and you have better ways, and what are you going to do to create that impact? And again, for me, it's very much about taking an action, right? Some people think, you know, if I don't have the time, let me just give the money. Yes, that works too. But sometimes it's the time that counts. They actually need all hands on deck for whatever event. This is very true with when you have kids, younger kids, and they're in school. You can give the PTA money, but that's not what they want. They want you to be there painting that post,
Yeah.
painting that poster to help them, right? So that's the impact that they need, though, is like one more pair of hands. So you gotta be, look at it and say, you know what? If this is my kids' class graduating, I want to be the parent painting that poster, right? Because that's what my kids are going to be looking at. So I think a lot of time when people talk, the metric may be money, the metric may be fame or PR, but measure it with some heart. And do that. And if that's your habit, right? So we like to talk about the high performance habit. Is not something that you do one time. This is what you do every time, right? You put your heart into it, and you ask your clients or your customers to put some heart into it. And all of a sudden it become more meaningful. This is where you feel impactful. And you don't have to necessarily be on stage or be famous. If you can feel that you're impactful with the people around you, and I'm not talking about your family, I'm talking about just the people around you, like you said, you're tipping the waitress. right? I was involved in a Vietnamese movie, which I know nothing about. So anyway, so there's all these people involved, and there's one of them is a makeup artist, and he also has a dream of being a singer. So he also sing, not like a big name in the Vietnamese community. And then we just saw a little preview of the movie on the big screen, and I was in awe because I can see his work, the makeup
Yes.
on these actors, right? And then he reached out to me and say, "Hey, I'm having this you know singing whatever the event. Can you come and support me?" And number one, I couldn't come. I'm attending another event. So I just told him I'm going to just sponsor a table, right, for you. And yes, it's only 1,500 because this is a VIP table or whatever, right? But I know that helps his dream as a singer, right? So sometimes it's just that amount, but it's helping somebody dream. And I told him, why don't you invite the cast members from the movie, table of 10, just invite 10 of them. There are more than 10 people involved, but just choose 10 and invite them so they can celebrate the time with you. And, you sell one more table for your event. And I'm so sorry I can't make it because I'm attending another event. And I could tell that meant a lot to him,
Yes.
right? So just look a little beyond whatever the person is trying to do. And that's what I mean by impact.
I love it. What's the best business advice you ever got?
Good enough is good enough.
Good enough is good enough.
Yes. I think it's a great advice because especially when we're new, we're trying to measure it to somebody else, right? Like, hey, I want to speak like Daniel. I want to, because Daniel sometimes sounds like a preacher, right? Like you're so much into it. And at one time, I was asking Sharon, so and so, he jumped on the chair, right, to get the crowd all excited. I said, should I jump on the chair? And she go, no, you just be you. But the thing, what I mean is, good enough for me, it may just be good enough. I don't have to be you. I don't have to do a dramatic demonstration, right? Because when we don't know yet, when we're not experienced, we think we have to reach that level and we don't. We just need to first show up, right? That's what we tell people all the time. But let's, first show up and do whatever is best for you right now. And then going forward, you can get a little better, a little better, a little better. When people are stuck because they think the first time they speak, they have to sound like Daniel, then they will never speak because they're not going to sound like Daniel. Because Daniel sound like that after, I don't know, 200 times. That's how he got to that, right? So understand that because I think that holds back a lot of people's dreams, right? Is they I gotta be perfect. But imagine if somebody want to go on TV and they say, I only want to be on TV if I can be on Good Morning America. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure there's several steps before you get to Good Morning America. You got to have, certain assets, certain PR before you get picked up by that, right? So, but if you're not going to start working your way up and you just think you're going to get there and you be good, it never happens that way. So there's work that have to be done. There's patience that is involved. And I love that. Good enough is good enough. I recently did an interview and sent it to my coach Dan Kennedy, and he faxed back a note because that's how you talk to him. And he said, "Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough? It's good enough."
Oh, you're so
And
let
I'm
me
like,
that's but and the thing is, when you say that, this is what comes to mind. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to be kinder to yourself. We have to be kinder to ourselves. Sometimes we're so harsh on ourselves, we beat ourselves up that good enough is good enough. It's great. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. And I think somebody needs to hear that today, Emily. So if you're out there and maybe you bombed an interview, maybe you bombed a podcast, maybe you bombed that promotion you went to try to get at your job. Hey, as long as you tried your best and you did good enough, you knew it, The rest is in God's hands, and we can't beat ourselves up with that.
Yeah, and I want to clarify on that too. Then that doesn't mean just to half-ass the thing, right? Like just you give it 100%, and that's all you have. That's all you got with whatever training, whatever experience you have, and you just put it out there because I joke to people, I said there's always a version 2.0.
So let me ask you this: what is a quote or a scripture that you rely on in times of adversity? What is a quote or a scripture that you rely on times of adversity?
Well, yeah, one of my favorite quote is I'm trying to think, I haven't said it for a while. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And it says a lot because sometimes it's just your perception also. You think that this is a tough time right now. Well, 20 years ago, I'm pretty sure the tough time were tougher than right now. But you persist, right? You go from that tough time to this tough time, but you last because you're a tough person. And that's what I shared when we were speaking in Denver, and I said you have a 100% track record of living through a bad day. And sometimes you just beat yourself up. Today's a bad day. I didn't close that deal. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Well, I'm pretty sure there's several deals before today that you did not close. You just decided to beat yourself up today, and that's where it come back to be the biggest supporter of yourself, to have some grace for yourself, to say, yep, right, total sure, right.
Either.
Right.
You're just, you know what? You're talking to me today, right? Be the biggest supporter of yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't think that we make the impact that we do, or we don't realize how much of an impact that we make.
Yeah.
And I love your little nuggets you're dropping, because I think God has you talking to me, Emily, right? Be the biggest supporter of yourself, Daniel.
Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes when you're new, so let's just say we go back to the example of a speaker. You're new and you don't know how much impact you could make, right? But you talk to somebody like Daniel or myself, and I can show you, like I share when I spoke, I can show you the LinkedIn message that somebody told me in Australia. Somebody decided to make a business decision because she listened to me speaking on stage, right? That's not something that I can figure out. I'm speaking to so many dentists or whatever, and one of them decided to go and make an investment of several $100,000, buying a practice, and that has to do with me. That makes no sense, right? But this is where God's magic works, or God's hands work. Is He put you there so you can deliver that message for that person. Yes. You think you put yourself there, and yes, you physically put yourself there, but it's really the intention of God, right? For you to be so impactful. And that's why I always come from. I tell people, to have gratitude, because it's not like all of a sudden I end up in Australia. There's certain connection, there's certain conversation. Then I get invited to go speak over there. And then if I go over there, I'll tell you, that's the one thing that I remember is that LinkedIn message. Sydney was beautiful, but what I remember from Australia was that one LinkedIn message, because that's that's the impact that I made.
You're powerful. How do we get a hold of you? Somebody wants to connect with Dr. Emily. How do they get a hold of you?
Yes, well, I hang out with Daniel. No, I'm just kidding.
She'll be at Sticker Shock next year. Come on.
Yes, they can go to my website. It's dremilyletran.com, DREMILYLETRAN.com. And I have a download on there about business acceleration, like all the insights on how to grow your business. And one of them, surprise, is going to be gratitude, right? And then they can also book a call with me. If they have a business challenge, we can jump on the call. Let's see if I can help you solve your challenge. And then we can have a conversation whether or not we're a good fit to chat and collaborate and work together. So, and I'm on multiple platforms. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So people can find me on there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us so much, Dr. Emily. You've been a Huge blessing. And ladies and gentlemen, we're coming towards the end of our show already, but thank you so much for joining us, because without you as a viewer, there would be no show. Without you as a viewer, we wouldn't be one of the top 1.5%, over 3 million podcasts in the world. We have 0.5%. That's 0.5. That's because of y'all, the viewership. So thank you for all the downloads. Thank you for sharing our episodes. And please, this one is powerful. If someone needs encouragement in business, Dr. Emily just kind of laid it down. And if you want to be a speaker, like she was saying, our next speaking academy is coming up here in a couple of months, March 8th and 9th in San Antonio, Texas. I want to see you in San Antonio. That's March 8th and 9th. Give me a call at 210-663-5954. We'll get you scheduled. We'll get your seat reserved, because we want to see you, because your story matters. And people out there are waiting to hear you. Like Emily said, just her speaking, a woman, it changed her life. And I want to change your life. Come to the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, because your story makes a difference. Until next week, here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show with another amazing guest. Thank you so much for joining us. And Dr. Emily, thank you again.
Wow.
This is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and thank you for listening to our show today. Please share this episode with a friend, leave us a review, and subscribe to our show. And for listening to our show today, I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to our Millionaire Mind community. Text the word millionaire, that's millionaire, to 210-942-5059. Yes, join our community today and receive millionaire affirmations, inspirational quotes on a weekly basis. That's 210-942-5059. Text the word millionaire today and join our community. And once again, thank you for listening to our show.